Where is BUZZmod Douma? This is a question that many of us in the community have been wondering for running on a year now. And I have made this presentation to share with the community to describe this process that has gone on for almost a year. I have my Chromebook set up, so if you want to turn off my annoying voice or just look at the screen or even the figures in the background, as I'll probably pick them up from time to time and mess with them because I'll get bored. But here, I present to you the full timeline of BUZZmod Douma and the complications that have come with it this last year. July 26, 2025. BUZZmod posts 2 pictures onto their social media accounts announcing their next upcoming figures, Douma and Canal. Although Canal had previous prototype photos revealed at conventions, Douma was a brand new revelation for the community. Since then, only one promotional prototype has been displayed for Douma, but none for Canal since her initial showing. Shown here is every currently purchasable Demon Slayer villain figure. Notice anything? 3 of them are Akaza. Out of every demon they could have chose to make in the last 7 years of the show being on the air, they have made a total of 2 villains across 4 seasons or 10 arcs. This shows why Douma has been a big deal. He is the first new villain figure since 2023. Displaying on the side here is every single villain that has been made by either BUZZmod, SH Figuarts, or Figma, which are the big 3 Japanese companies who are making Demon Slayer figures. This is it, ever since the creation of the show. And 3 of them are of the exact same character. And Daki, which, why is she here if her brother isn't? These guys don't count. Nezuko isn't really a villain, and her demon form is only in 2 episodes of the Entertainment District arc. Genya is a half-demon hybrid thing, who only fights other demons. How come Demon Nezuko gets a figure, but not Gyuthro, who is arguably the main villain and antagonist of the Entertainment District arc? Neither do these things. They're alright for cheap fun, but come on, I'm trying to have a serious conversation here. Although I am glad to see that someone, even if it was McFarlane, who tried to make a figure other than Akaza. That's cool. The characters shown, who have green dots, have been made by at least one of the 3 companies that I have mentioned. Characters with a blue dot are actively being made. All characters without a dot at all have not been created or announced a release. Notice how some of the biggest characters in the series that have had their time to shine or haven't are still not being made. Some figures like Tengen, who had his big role in season 2, or Morichiro with his Swordsmith Village arc, even Mitsuri in the same arc. They only have 1 figure made for them, and that's by BUZZmod. Notice how the main villain of the entire show, Muzan, who has been around since season 1 and is the entire reason that the show exists, doesn't have a single posable action figure. Not a single one. While characters like Akaza on the villain side has a release by every single one of the main 3. Daki has one by BUZZmod for some reason, but come on, no Muzan. Gyuthro wasn't made despite having a fight in season 2 that changed the entire anime industry, as some have credited. Gyoko had his big moment fighting Morichiro. His enemy was made, but not him. And Hantengu is such a figure-perfect character to recreate. He has multiple different forms. Each one is more special and different from the last, and he was the main villain of the Swordsmith Village arc, and yet they just didn't make him. The switch up. February 6th, 2026. 195 days later, with absolutely no warning or any sort of foreshadowing, Hobby Genki and many others post full colored, displayed, and ready to pre-order that very day Giyu and Tanjiro version 2.0 figures. How come these two figures can come out of the blue while Douma and Kanao have been in the works for months and we haven't seen anything from them since that very first picture showing that they were being produced? 3 days later, February 9th, 2026. Just 6 months after the announcement of the figure being in production, this picture is posted online from Wonderfest 2026 in Japan. This photo was not posted by any of BUZZmod's official accounts, but instead by people who attended the convention and took pictures of the prototype. 6 months. Just a prototype. And poor Kanao hasn't made any progress. Now, this figure is very fascinating to me because of the new elements they have added compared to their other figures. This figure has both bicep swivels, which no other BUZZmod figure has, and also fabric pants. Fabric pants should really help this guy articulate, which is exactly what BUZZmod needs from their legs. The roar and the lull. For 78 days, or 2 months and 19 days, nothing else is said about the BUZZmod Douma prototype reveal. No official statements are made. As fans and influencers within the community rave about the new Douma prototype, myself included. Yet, as the days and months go on, nothing happens. BUZZmod and Aniplex never release an official response, leaving many to question what they might be planning. A new challenger has arrived, April 8th, 2026. After what felt like so long of pure silence from BUZZmod, finally something about a Douma figure is released, but not by BUZZmod, but SH Figuarts. Although BUZZmod came first, SH Figuarts has been on the rise, as they began as a more affordable and modern alternative, with new innovative articulation. However, over the last few SH Figuarts releases, their prices keep going up. While BUZZmod is more expensive, they came with accessories, hands galore, and effect pieces that made them good. SH Figuarts never gave their figures effects, which was fine for a $30 figure, but not fine when the prices went from $30 to $60 to $90 and now even $100. I felt like I was the only one who noticed this event. BUZZmod was the first company signed on for Demon Slayer figures, so they rarely had competition such as this. This would be the first time in 2 years in which different companies were creating the same character at the same time. SHF jumps the gun, May 25th, 2026. A mere 47 days after SH Figuarts shows their silhouette promo image, SH Figuarts goes all in. On this wretched day, SH Figuarts drops every bit of info about this figure, set to release in November of 2026. The only thing about this figure worse than the awful accessory spread of 4 hands is the price tag of $100, or 11,000 yen. Personally, I don't think the face fully resembles Douma. I find it imperative that BUZZmod comes out strong and blows this figure out of the water. While I did say that BUZZmod has more expensive figures, I continuously find myself growing more and more outraged about SH Figuarts' apparent greed. I have many SH Figuarts, as some are shown with Tanjiro and Giyu, Yet none of SH Figuarts' other brands are treated quite like Demon Slayer in a bad way. My problem with SH Figuarts. Listed below are competitive lines of figures from different shows. The connection? All figures shown are still made by SH Figuarts. The ones on the left are non-Demon Slayer lines and their pricings. On the right is their Demon Slayer line and their pricings. Take note of the accessory to price difference between both sides. For instance, the two $90 figures. Deadpool has way more accessories than Zenitsu. Take a look at this. The brand new Goku figure that just came out, that is $35. I'm comparing that to the new Tanjiro figure that came out a couple of months ago. Both are reuse of newer bodies. The only difference is that they come with relatively the same stuff, just new coloring, some change of things, and yet this Tanjiro figure is double the price of the Goku figure. If we look at the $100 figures, look at the difference between those. Shinobu on the right, which I have the BUZZmod version over there, is $100. Comes with 4 faces, I think 5 pairs of hands in total, and her sword. That is all she gets. And yet, the $100 figure from the My Hero Academia line, look at all those accessories. A wired fabric cape, which none of the SH Figuarts Demon Slayer figures have. 2 different heads of hair that you can swap out. A piece that goes around his waist that represents his powers. 5 faces compared to Shinobu, who only has 4. And look at all those hands. That's like 6 pairs of hands. And now the worst one. If we look at the $90 figures from SH Figuarts Demon Slayer, this is Zenitsu. He basically has the exact same body as Tanjiro, just with new colors, different things, new paint, new head. That's about it. They even reuse a lot of the same faces down there, just with new paint. He has a good display of hands, some unique ones that are made just for him, and his sword. But $90? That becomes even worse when you look at the other side, with the Deadpool figure that they made for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. He is the same price as Zenitsu, and yet look at that. 2 swords, a sheath with 2 swords, 2 guns, a knife, a thing that looks like the knife is in the holster on his leg, and all of these hands for $90. Plus, this figure isn't any reuse. They had to make a whole brand new figure just for this one release, while all they had to do for Zenitsu was take the body that they had already used, change its coloring, change its paint, and put him back on shelves. That's all they had to do for this figure, and yet he is $90. Ridiculous. What now? July 2026. Over 150 days since the prototype was shown at Wonderfest, and 350 days since the last official statement about the figure from BUZZmod or Aniplex, here we are, the present, as of this video's release, on the edge of the year anniversary of this figure's announcement with no new information given. After a year of waiting, some have genuinely lost hope. I, however, have one last hope. The Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie comes to streaming at the end of the month. It is my last hope that this figure will finally be announced along with the hype of people rewatching this movie since its appearance in theaters a year ago. So, BUZZmod, this is my question for you. Will you capitalize on the rewatch value of this amazing film? Or will we be waiting another year or 2 for this figure to finally be in our hands? The ball is in your court. It always has been. But what will you do now? You've dealt with a teaser, a new spontaneous release, a prototype showing, a rival release that has steamrolled yours thus far, and now finally, a golden opportunity. We, and I hope that this video is proof of it, I have been waiting for you to make your move. Oh, please do not let me down. Displayed here is the full timeline so that we can see everything that has happened this last year. July 26, 2025 was the first announcement. February 6, 2026, the two 2.0 figures are released after 6 months of hearing nothing about either Douma or Canal, and we had no previous examples that these figures were even going to come out. February 9th, 2026, 3 days later, BUZZmod finally shows us a prototype at a convention. April 8th, 2026, SH Figuarts reveals their own Douma figure. May 25th, 2026, 47 days later, SHF shows full pictures and a pre-order and an official release date for their Douma figure. Mid-July 2026. This video is uploaded to my YouTube channel. July 28th, 2026 is when the Demon Slayer movie finally comes to streaming after a year. It is my non-professional idea that the ideal time for this figure to come out will be between July 25th, just a couple of days before the movie comes out, all the way up to August 2nd, which is the last weekend, or the Sunday, right after the movie is released on streaming, which is perfect time for rewatch, perfect time for everybody to see it after the hype of it comes up. It would make the most sense. Everybody's already been seeing the movie. Everybody's already watched it by this point. That is Sunday. It's the last weekend day where a lot of people would be watching it. So that is the time that I believe that this figure would probably be announced. There should be no other reason or time that this figure would come out because we have waited a year. Right, BUZZmod? Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It would really help motivate me to making more videos. Thanks for watching. Yeah, hey, what's up? No, I just finished recording a video. Did it what? Okay. Bye. Oh, god damn.